I absolutely love working in tech without having to do any coding at all. Let's talk more about no-code roles, such as what they are, why I enjoy mine, some downsides of being a no-code role, and also what to look for if you are interested in pursuing a no-code role yourself. Hi, I'm Laura, a PM working in tech, and on my channel I cover my life working in tech, my life working as a PM, and other computer science-related advice. First, let's talk what no-code roles are. As the name suggests, a no-code role is a role in which you aren't actively coding or programming as part of your day-to-day responsibilities and job function. For obvious reasons, I'm going to keep this scope to the tech industry and working in a tech company. The most popular of these are going to include some variant of PM, whether that be product management, program management, or project management, and also a design role, such as UX or UI designer. Also teetering on the edge of definitions here are some more engineering-focused roles, like DevOps or security engineering, where depending on your role in your job, you can program or code, but you also may not. There are also roles that have less collaboration involved in engineering in the first place, such as community management or product marketing manager, where you're focused on different sides of the business. So secondly, why do I enjoy my role as a product manager? Well, 3 key reasons. The first is that coding was never really my big thing. As a college graduate with a computer science degree, I obviously went through all the hoops and rings that you would expect from a computer science major. I spent the vast majority of my time learning how to code and also how to be a better coder throughout the process of my 3 years in college. I thought I really enjoyed it though. My first year at college, I had a really tough time trying to figure out computer science and what that really meant, as well as learning programming on top of that. So everything after that was kind of just smooth sailing for me, and I thought that this was where I was meant to be. As I entered my later years of college, I felt like I was doing remarkably better. I was taking difficult courses, doing well on them, and actually genuinely enjoying the content and the kinds of programming exercises that I had to do for these classes. However, as time went on, I realized that the reason why I enjoyed my coursework so much and the overall computer science program was just because I enjoyed the aspect and feeling of completing an assignment and doing it well. I didn't really enjoy coding in my free time. I didn't start any side projects, and the ones I did start really didn't even go anywhere. And I also just didn't really want to get into the technical conversations about how to optimize something or care about exploring the best way to implement something without having any technical overhead or what have you. And honestly, even though I was okay at programming, I couldn't really see myself doing this for the rest of my career. The second reason is that plenty of people are just better at coding than I am. Tying this back to my previous point, I could learn things pretty well in a classroom and in a structured environment like that where I had someone guiding me and teaching me the reins of what to do. However, when it came to a more free environment, doing things on my own, or even at internships, I had found that some of my peers were just simply better than me. They're more willing to experiment, try things out, and reading documentation actually made sense to them for the most part, whereas for me, it kind of felt like everything was just going over my head, and I was really afraid to just try something out and really dig in and figure out what it meant. If I really dug my heels and I had to do a gruesome debugging session, and trust me, I've had it plenty, then I could do it. But it wasn't something that I had a natural inclination or passion to do, like many people who succeed as software engineers do. The third reason I appreciate being in a no-code role is because it helps highlight the other strengths I do have and complements my technical aptitude and technical background. Throughout my computer science program, I really enjoyed the design aspect of things and be able to come up with different solutions to tackle and solve a problem. I didn't have as great of a time though when it actually came time to implement and code the thing. I also really enjoyed collaborating with people from different backgrounds and getting their perspectives and opinions on what the right solution should be and merging all these opinions into the final solution that we go forward with. I also really enjoy learning and striving to be better, so every opportunity that I get to collaborate with someone else is another opportunity that I have to uplevel my skills and learn something new on the daily. My role as a product manager combines these two things really well, and I do spend the majority of my time on a lot of days just coming up with solutions, prototyping them, talking with design and engineering to get an idea of what the final solution should look like, and bringing that forward to propose to leadership, my manager, and other peers and stakeholders who might be involved. So thirdly, what are some downsides of being in a no-code role? The first thing is that since I collaborate a ton with engineering and I come from that technical background, I always feel like I should know a little bit more on the technical details and be a little bit more informed on what this thing actually means or what the technical feasibilities look like. Let's ground this in something a little bit more concrete. Right now, for example, one of my projects that I'm working on is related to containers. Now, taking my couple of hours working with Docker files and Docker and the same Docker file that I copied from one assignment to the other, just changing a variable or two, didn't really help me coming to answer support questions related to this project. I felt like I was always deferring to engineering on these questions, and I didn't really have the ability to answer them on my own, which just felt a little bit defeating. On one hand, it's your job as a product manager to really understand and dig into the customer experience, but on the other hand, the engineers are the ones that wrote the whole solution and the ones that are best equipped to answer the more technical details. It's definitely just a hard balance to strike and find within your role. If you're kind of struggling with the same thing, then have a conversation with your manager or peers and figure out what the best way to approach it should be for your given role and situation. A second major downside is that it can really suck to spend all of your time trying to break into the tech industry, learning how to code, only just to throw it all away and never code again in your career. I spent 3 years of my life and lots of money as well just to figure out how to code and to never use it again. And for many others out there, some have even built a career out of it and spent many more hours than I have, and also a lot more time and even potentially money. Or for those who switch careers entirely, it can really just feel like a dead end, or I'm sure that career switchers go through something similar where they give up an entire other career just to pursue this new thing. The truth is though, for me, I would have never gotten my position if not for my background in computer science and having the technical aptitude and also knowledge of how to code in the first place. As long as you want to work in tech or adjacent to tech, having that technical background is going to be a huge lifesaver and is often a requirement that people don't talk about. Of course, that's not to say that you can't break into tech without that CS background or having an internship of some sort, but it is just helpful. So fourth, what can you do if you do want to enter a no-code role? The first and most important thing, I think, is to do the research, spend the time, and get to know what other roles are out there, aside from your traditional software engineering roles. Chances are, if you're an early CS major, the main career path that you're kind of having in mind is just to be a software engineer and to live out all your dreams and chase that $200,000 compensation as a new grad out of. However, as far as I know, a lot of new grads in PM and designer roles make similar compensation to those as software engineers at the same company, so it's not worth it just to solely chase that bag and get that money early on. As long as you have some sort of other driving factor aside from pure compensation for the most part, then you should be okay. The second thing is just to start applying. There's probably not as great of a path forward for new grads in product marketing manager roles or community management roles as there are software engineer or PM roles, but that doesn't mean that you can't try and at least start getting your name out there and familiar with what the requirements may look like and how you can best set yourself up for success moving forward. Third and lastly is to know your strengths and weaknesses and how they fill into this no-code role that you're trying to pursue. Although just not having a code is a good enough personal reason, I think that it's also important to prepare yourself for the interview, where someone will likely ask what are some good skills and strengths that you think of someone in this particular role, and how do you see yourself filling those strengths and roles. I know that spending the time and putting in the work to get a CS degree only to never use it again really and to never code again can feel pretty awful, but in the end it's still building your experience towards something, and I can bet that it's going to give you a leg up on the next candidate who doesn't have a CS background, even if you're not directly applying to be a software engineer. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, or you can schedule a coffee chat with me at aka.ms/chatwithlaura. Or third, you can join the conversation on my Discord channel, which will be linked in the description box down below. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week for a brand new video. Bye.